Jim's been pretty stubbornly negative on the prospect of pre-election fiscal stimulus, Jim, although Fundstrat's out today saying, all right, let's talk about post-election stimulus. Historically, lame ducks don't get a lot done. A lot of members are discouraged or defeated. They don't come back to D.C. So I don't know. Then you're starting to talk about a January, February story.
Yeah, I've been telling people, please don't jump the gun on infrastructure. Stick with the themes that are working. Stick with the idea that travel's getting better. Stick with the idea, there's some notes today about housing, that housing remains strong given how low rates are and the continued. When you get COVID like this, you're suddenly in that weird area, Carl, where people say, you know what, I thought people were coming back. They're not coming back. Otis, which reported a very good quarter, which stands for, in some way, to say office construction, which is pretty strong, is not up. Now, it's very light volume. I think it should be up because it's substantially better than expected. But then there'll be people who say, Carl, this new wave of COVID just makes it even more likely that people are not going to go to the office. And I think that does. Whom is pretty palpable, I think, because of COVID.
It's hard to imagine anybody putting up a new tower in New York City anytime soon.
Right.
It's going to be an awful lot of empty square footage when it comes to office space. And a lot of metropolitan areas, although others that are going to be benefiting that we talk about as well. I mean, it moves somewhere.
Right. I thought there was a false tell last week. We saw the banks go up, and I was thinking, wait a second. Maybe people are thinking that there's going to be more construction. I think banks were really going up because rates were going up, and that trade can easily reverse.
No, but Otis has always done. I mean, China, they're still putting a lot of stuff up, aren't they, Jim?
Oh, I spoke with them this morning. China's just spectacular. By the way, not losing any share. And they've also got the new thing that I really like. This is when you get IoT, okay, Internet of Things.
Yes.
You are in the situation where, as Otis is, you can get in the elevator, as they do it at Foxwood, and you can say, take me to the 8th floor. And it understands that. And why is that so important? Because there is a belief, a stubborn belief in this country, that when you touch a PIN card, when you put in your code,
yes,
and when you touch an elevator, a floor, that's really COVID ground zero. As opposed to my coughing in your face, which I regard as COVID.
It's much more about airborne than surfaces.
Yes, but people
from what we've learned, although
surfaces remain what people think are the most dangerous.
Really?
Yeah, and I think when you look at what's happening in Italy and Spain, Carl, they're doing curfews because they were back to their old ways. I mean, going to bars.
Yeah, France did 52,000 cases yesterday. The health minister there says they see it going to 100K soon. I don't know if you saw Morgan Stanley's new base case, Jim. I mean, they're arguing baseline 130,000 here by year end, which that would be a dark winter no matter whether you believe it or not. And there's a lot of projections that people don't believe. But you would not want to see a world where we are doing 130,000 cases a day.
I don't know what that'll mean for colleges. I think that the colleges, by the way, are very torn because there's a lot of people who are testing positive, but they feel okay. Those could be walking time bombs for those who come home for Thanksgiving. But there's been a lot of lockdowns. If you check the colleges, there was New York Times has a college list. The last week was just horrendous for almost every college. And I think that a lot of colleges are facing right now the notion of what do we do? How do we send these people home? How do we quarantine these people? Carl,
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. First of all, I don't know what numbers you're looking at because there's plenty of colleges that are doing fairly well. And there's certainly the idea that you want to actually keep the students there as opposed to let them back in some fashion. Well, although, to your point, a lot of universities and schools are going to be sending people home for Thanksgiving and then saying, don't come back. And they'll conduct finals, for example, remotely and then not begin again, many of them, until late in January or even early February, go without a spring break. But, Jim, it's not uniform.
Well, one of the problems is that we don't really have any sort of system in this country for what to do with colleges. I mean, we've got just some craziness where the colleges really don't know what to do.
Well, they've all undertaken it on their own, and a lot of them have very different protocols. Many are doing quite well, others not as well.
Well, it depends on how many you test. I mean, Carl, do you know when the NFL went to 7-day testing, dramatic reduction in COVID? 7-day testing. Mm-hmm. They're able to do 7-day testing. Try to get 7-day testing for the regular person who's not in the NFL. I haven't seen to be able to do that.
We are doing 1 million tests a day now in this country.
Well, there's 30 million people.
There are, but it's a lot more than we were doing, and it does enable you at least to understand where things are happening and breaking and potentially tamping things down more quickly.
Okay, I think you should go to Dr. Faust, who is the best, who's really, I think he's a Harvard doctor, one of the best follows on Twitter, and he has a piece yesterday about universities and coronavirus, an update from Ivory Towers, and it's talking about the University of Michigan announced the imposition of an immediate stay-at-home order for the campus.
Yeah, that was last week, 2 weeks, I know.
Well, no, but I'm saying that they're studying what's happening. Look, we're on the same page on this. What we're saying is that there's disorganization, disarray at colleges. Some good, some not so good.
Scott Gottlieb had his editorial yesterday, right? More or less saying masks would help a lot if we had a nation.
Dr. Fauci said the same thing, this national mask mandate, but there's a person in the White House not in favor of that.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.